Okay, so we're back. I need my iced coffee in the afternoon. We are back and we are talking about deschooling. This morning we talked about your different options. There are basically three options. Inside the traditional homeschool one, there are two options, at least in Alabama. In your state, if you're in a different state, it may be different, but three basic options we talked this morning. If you find this one and you haven't seen that one, let me know. It will be in Unit 2, Day 1, and it should be pretty easy to find inside that unit. If it's not, let me know. I can tag you. I know Facebook can get weird. That's why we do a pop-up group, so it's a little bit easier to find videos and you're not digging in my usual group. So we're going to talk about deschooling. Deschooling is a word that you will hear across the board in all the homeschool groups. They'll tell you, oh, you'll say, I'm going to homeschool, and then someone says, you need to deschool. And you're like, what? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it today, and it applies to everybody because basically, let me see, where is it? Where's my notes? Um, let's see. The weird thing about this thing is I have all the notes for today in this section, and I might have to go looking for it. Okay, so deschooling, what is it? Okay, so deschooling is the adjustment phase between leaving a traditional education program and moving into an alternative one, which is kind of what you would think with anything with homeschooling. Whether it's distance learning, public schooling, traditional schooling, there's going to be bumps and there's an adjustment period. And that's what they're talking about. So I didn't have many notes for this one. So, because I mean, deschooling is a passion of mine. I keep thinking that I'm going to write material on it because there's nothing out there. So when you're in a homeschooling group and they start talking about this, regardless of what choice you use, this is an adjustment period you're going to have. And they'll start throwing things that you're supposed to do. You'll hear you're not supposed to do any school. You'll hear how long it's supposed to go, but no solid plan. That's what I want to write about one day. So anyway, a deschooling process, it's an adjustment phase. It's like this is the time period you're giving yourself grace. They say it's they, whoever they are. There's actually a book, and I actually found it and read it, where the whole term comes from. But they say it takes 1 month for every year the kids have been in school. So if you're homeschooling a 12th grader for the first time, that's 13 months. Okay, now is it realistic that you're not teaching? No. So what you're doing is this is your adjustment phase. This is the frame of time that you're saying, I'm giving myself grace to work out the bugs. That's really all it is. It'll be different for every person depending on why you're homeschooling. If you're homeschooling for bullying, that's a word, for bully, or health reasons, or whatever your reason is, what you're doing during that adjustment time is going to look different. If you're planning to traditional school and you're not planning to go back to the public school, you can be a little bit more lax. If you're planning to go back to public school after COVID, then I would not relax at all. But you still give yourself grace while you're going through, because you just realize that there will be bumps. It's not the same. Even if you're trying to do traditional school at home, it's not going to look the same as a public school. There's going to be kickback. There's going to be adjustment. Your child will look at you and say, hey, you're not the teacher. And you'll say, oh, yeah, I am. That's basically, even if you're doing public school at home, you're the mama. The buck stops there. So this is just your grace period. If you're doing traditional homeschooling and you plan to continue to homeschool, or you think you will continue to homeschool, you can be a little bit more lenient. What I do during this time and what I suggest is that you're working on any diagnosis that you need, whatever it is. If you think there's learning disabilities, or if there's tutoring to build support, you're working on that. You're researching curriculum. You are building your support help in your support group. You are working out all the bugs. Now, if you're doing that and that's the way you're going, then there are sales, there will be people who will tell you not to do anything while you're deschooling. I do not ever advise that. At the very least, you're doing math and you're doing reading. As long as you cover those two bases, you're going to be doing good. Math, you're working at their level, moving up to where they, I mean, if they're behind, they might not be behind. I have some kids who even though we've homeschooled, they got behind and had to build them up. I have others that are like way beyond anything I ever learned. So you're taking them, like with math, you're taking them from where they are and you want to put them up where they're going. That's what you would do during deschooling. You're getting their reading on track. If you have those two subjects well handled and you really strengthen those, if you put them back into school later, you're good. You're going to be good. It's not going to be it's not going to be bumpy. So you're working out that, you're working out the bumps, you're finding curriculum. Curriculum, give yourself grace. There's tons of stuff out there. If you don't make a good choice the first time, you can sell it on eBay, go to the next one. It's all good. We all go through that. And even now, I mean, there's times I adjust and I have to switch curriculum. So it's like what I started with in the beginning, I am not still using now. And then there are stuff I started with in the beginning that I'm going back to. So it's like we change and we grow and things become better or more useful. So with deschooling, I use that time, that period of adjustment, as a reconnecting time. That is one thing I do advise, no matter what you're using in the fall. Use this time to readjust with your children. When your children are in a public school, you're not seeing them all day long. That's going to take some bumps, because suddenly you're together. You know how it has been since March. We've had good times and bad times in this house. But take your time to readjust. I would find games, math. There's lots and lots of games. There's a term, game schooling. It's a whole thing. Find games with math. Find a good curriculum. As long as, I mean, my kids will do a curriculum and then we pull out a game once a week where we're doing some kind of math game. Reading, we read for fun during the summer. During the school year, we have nonfiction books that go along and fiction that go along with their history and their science. You move that way. Go on field trips. Make sure if you can find them. Okay, let's be honest, with COVID it's hard, but find ways to connect, even if we are all in a different time. And I think that's one of the silver linings of all this. I know that sounds crazy, but it's really given families a time to reconnect with each other. And that's one thing I do suggest with deschooling, is that you take time to handle any issues learning-wise. I've had some families that I've consulted with where there's been depression and anxiety. That's a big one now when I talk to parents during the school year before COVID. There was lots. I deal with a lot of, not that I'm dealing with it, but you know what I mean. I have families that have the anxiety and the depression and the bullying. And I suggest that you work any of those issues out while you're in this phase. That in itself is more important than any curriculum, because that's our goal in life, is to raise healthy, happy, well-adjusted children who become healthy, happy, well-adjusted adults. That's our goal. That's my goal. When I look at my children at the end of the day, my goal is for them to be contributors to society. I want them to be healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally. I want them to be happy. I want them to enjoy life and to contribute to them around. I mean, no axe murderers out here, So those are my goals for deschooling. I really do think I'm going to end up doing a deschooling boot camp later in the year, but I've got to get some handle on that. It's just such an interesting subject. And I think it's very useful. But no, if the mamas tell you don't do anything, I never think that's overly wise. I think you need to be doing something. Let's see, what else? I mean, y'all can ask questions. I'm going to tell you what I'm dealing with this week and why I'm going to my mother's while I'm waiting to see if you have any questions. Our attic fan broke. The air conditioner works, but it's really hot in the house. And so we're headed to Mimi's. That's what we're doing. So anyway, deschooling, an adjustment period. They say it takes 1 month per how many years they have been in school. I do believe that it takes at least a year. Just, I mean, really, if you decide to do traditional schooling, the first year is the hardest. Even I think with distance learning and with public school at home, your first year will be your hardest because it's new and there's an adjustment period that people do not recognize and say and remind y'all that it does go on, and you can get past it. You work out the bugs, you get used to each other, because you're all up together. I work from home now. We're all up together. My husband works from home. We are all here all the time. Somehow we survive. Then, just working out the bugs. Look for any undiagnosed learning disabilities. If there's any mental health issues, that's a good time to handle those. Make sure you're doing your math, even if it's just math curriculum. I can give you some great suggestions from ones we love. Read morning basket. Me and my baby. I have a 5-year-old, and we have morning basket in the morning where we read different things, and then we do her school, and then we go on with the day. What else? Okay. Anyway, so deschooling. There's no questions. I try to keep these videos short. So ask questions in the comments if you have them. Tag me if you have a question. I think I have the settings fixed where people can post. I'm going to double check that today. I will be back tomorrow morning at 10. We have also, tomorrow's Tuesday, we have the homeschool Q&A in the afternoon. You can find the link. I'll post the link again. You can find the link. It's through Zoom, and that's where we can see each other face to face. It's kind of easier sometimes when you're talking about different issues to see each other. Well, you can see me, and then I can actually share a little bit easier than I can here in Facebook, and I can help you find what you're looking for and what you need. Tuesday will be a good. We have plenty of time to do that. Now we can be relaxed and we can help each other out. But that is deschooling, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.